Hey guys, Shawn Bassett here with Attacking the Clock Racing. We're brand new hosts for Weld.com. We're going to show you guys all types of things that we do every day here in the shop, which is metal fab, welding, cutting, all kinds of stuff. So let me show you around. Alright, so this is our fabrication area. So this is where we do our cutting and grinding. We've got our MIG, our TIG, big old vise. You're going to want one of those. This is where we do our shaping and grinding. Let's take you on where the cars are though. Hi Rich.
Hey.
Hi. You know, road race cars and time attack cars and Pikes Peak hill climb cars is kind of what we're known for. We've got modern, R35 GTR race cars that we're going to be doing some roll cage work in. We'll show you guys along the way how that's done. Classic Japanese muscle cars too. R32 GTR Skyline we're doing a bunch of work on as well. This is our Pikes Peak 240Z. This is probably the car that is, pretty well known on the interwebs. You've seen my movies, I bet. Maybe you haven't, I don't know. Pretty much all built in-house. Full tube chassis race car. A lot of intercooler piping, a lot of titanium exhaust, a lot of custom brackets and mounts, and again, more roll cage chassis work. So yeah, we've got our 2021 SEMA best performance car on the show. It's pretty cool. This is our basically standard roll cage kit, which is not very standard for most folks, but we really go above and beyond when it comes to safety and making sure all of our clients feel comfortable and they're ready to send it and not have to worry about if their cage is going to hold up. We do our own charge piping, exhaust, that kind of stuff. So we want to show you guys how to do all of this stuff. And you don't start here, but we can show you a lot of tips and things to get you started. That way you can, at some point, get to this level. Some of you guys are seasoned welders and you already have your setup. So right now I want to talk to the guys or girls that are just getting started. They don't have a welder yet. They don't really know what to do, but they're ready to get going. And I want to tell you now today, you don't need a $10,000 welder to get started. You can start off with a couple $100 welder that you can get at your local home improvement store. Get welding today, make a bunch of not so nice stuff. With that being said, you keep at it, you keep practicing, and you're going to be really proud of your work. So I want to talk about what type of welder you should start off with, and it's a welder that I started off with and we use every day here at the shop, and it's a MIG welder. You shouldn't go off and say I want to weld and learn on a TIG welder. That's something you progress to. I know some of you guys have, but I think as far as just getting started, MIG welder, skip flux core, go straight to mixed gas. You'll thank me later, welds are going to be much nicer. But yeah, just go down to your local, home improvement place and then grab yourself a couple $100 welder, and that is where you should start. Don't get discouraged right out of the gate. We're going to teach you all kinds of tips and things that are going to help you out along the way. So I want to talk about one of the welders that we use at the shop pretty much every day, and it's a Lincoln 140 heavy duty. This is something you can go pick up anywhere, but it's a great welder to get started with. It's great for medium duty work, tacking stuff together. You can weld tubing together, whatever you want to do. But it's a great welder to get started with. I'd also recommend a 180. That's another great welder. Both are just your standard 110 outlet plugs, but they really get a lot of work done with it. So I want to show you guys how capable these types of machines are without spending a ton of money on 220 or 230 volt setup. I mentioned that you want to skip flux core. You can definitely go get a welder and start welding today with it, but my recommendation would be to use just solid wire. So usually your welder will come with this. You can get bigger spools and stuff like that, but I would probably skip flux core. That way you can go straight to better welds. The differences between the two wires, one's solid and it requires a shielded gas of 75% argon, 25% carbon dioxide. And that basically comes out of the nozzle of your MIG gun. Or your other option is a gas shielded wire, which basically as the arc starts happening, it emits a gas and kind of does the same thing. One, you can go get a welder today and you don't need shielded gas. The other two, I would really recommend to go down to your local gas place and get a small little bottle, kind of like this, to get started. We also have bigger ones at the shop, and a regulator. And what that's going to do is going to make a much better weld. Anybody professionally welding welds with shielded gas They don't use flux core. I started off with flux core, and then once I switched to gas, I was like, what have I been doing? So do the same thing. Get yourself a little bottle. Again, this is 75% argon, 25% carbon dioxide, specifically for steel welding. So it's super important that you protect yourself when you're welding. You are gluing hot metals together. There's going to be sparks and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you're well protected. If you're just getting started, you're going to want yourself a welding hood. And I'd probably recommend one that's got an auto darkening feature. It definitely makes things a little bit easier to keep going. You're going to want yourself a really good set of safety glasses, a really good set of welding gloves. There's two different types, generally MIG welding or TIG welding. I kind of like a glove that's in between to be able to jump back and forth and do different things. You're also going to want yourself a welding jacket or something to protect your arms. We don't want to see you all scarred up. I used to weld in tennis shoes a lot, and I have a lot of burn holes on top of my tennis shoes, so you want to make sure you're welding in a good pair of shoes that aren't going to burn through and stuff like that, preferably something leather. But yeah, I'll give you a rundown on the kind of gear that I use. You know, a big part of welding for me is making sure I'm comfortable, because if I'm not comfortable, I'm probably not going to do my best work, because I'll be thinking about how this position or whatever is just not ideal. So if I can, it's not always possible. Actually, most of the time I'm not able to. But if I can sit, you know, I've got my Viper chair, it keeps me nice and comfortable. I prefer to work at this table if I can. Most of the time I'm welding upside down in a car. But I do make sure whenever I am sitting here that I've got all the tools out, I'm as prepped as possible, my surface is clean, we're sanded, machine's ready, we got gas, and then all I gotta do is focus on welding. All right, so next on my list of important things to do when you're just getting started welding is metal surface prep. I think that's just kind of something that's just known that you need to do, but I think it's often overlooked. And so as we do more projects, I'll show you specifically what I do. But you really want to make sure your two parts that you're about to weld together for life are oil-free. There's no scaling on it. You know, they're just two raw metal pieces. That way you have the best opportunity to give yourself a nice, good weld. So at Attacking Clock Racing, we do a lot of metal fab and welding here. So we're going to bring you along on a process, a lot of those jobs. So we're going to teach you how to do a full, you know, roll cage, road race roll cage, and we're going to teach you how to, you know, plan a safe roll cage out, theories, how these things work, how to notch tube, how to prep tubing, all the types of things you're going to need to make sure you have a nice, safe roll cage. We're also going to teach you guys how to build exhaust systems for turbos and intercooler piping and all that kind of accessories that go along with a fabricated turbo setup. We do a lot of aerodynamics at the shop, so we're going to teach you guys how to make you know, fabricated brackets, all that kind of stuff. You'll be able to take simple cardboard brackets and templates and be able to show you guys how to take them to third-party companies, have them lasered, and in a couple days they show up at your doors. All you have to do is weld them. So you're going to see us use our Rogue Fab tube bender quite a lot. We use it to build, you know, tube chassis fronts, roll cages. You can even see that I built my sim chassis for practicing with this tube bender. We're going to show you all of, you know, the little things that you need to consider when building a tube chassis or a roll cage. DOM material is expensive, and you don't want to go wasting it and trying a bunch of stuff. So we're going to be there to help you along the way to make sure you're confident in your build. Hi guys, I want to thank you for watching our very first episode. It was a lot of fun showing you around the shop, all the stuff we have going on here at Attacking Clock Racing. We're always bending, cutting, grinding something, metal fab and welding on race cars. So in the comments below, I want to hear from you what you would like to see more on a regular basis. Maybe it's something that's not shown, or you didn't know how they do that, or whatever it is. I want to show all that stuff to you. But we got some really great content for roll cage stuff coming up. But anyways, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank Weld.com. There's a bunch of great information on there as well. And yeah, we'll see you.